The town of Red Hollow had one rule everyone obeyed. Never fall for a rider. Especially not Cole Rider. But Ivy Bennett broke that rule the moment she saw him standing under the storm outside the church, hat low, jaw bruised, eyes colder than midnight. And the worst part? He looked at her like he already knew she'd ruin herself for him. Ivy. Her breath caught. He remembered her name. 3 years ago, she was just the preacher's quiet daughter hiding behind books and piano songs. Now she stood frozen while rain poured around them. "You came back," she whispered. Cole stepped closer slowly. "Didn't plan to. You shouldn't have." "That what you want?" She tried to answer, but her heart betrayed her before her mouth could. Because Cole Rider had always been danger wrapped in denim and silence. Every girl in town wanted him once. Most regretted it after. Rumors followed him everywhere. Bar fights, smuggling, blood. A woman who disappeared after leaving town with him. But Ivy never believed half the stories. Maybe because she remembered the boy before the monster. The boy who used to sneak peaches onto her porch when her father punished her. The boy who sat beside her by the river after her mother died. The boy who once promised, "If I ever leave this town, I'm taking you with me." Then he disappeared the next morning without goodbye. Until now. Thunder cracked above them. Cole stared at her softly. "You still play piano?" Ivy swallowed hard. "Sometimes. You used to play when you were sad. And you used to listen outside the window." A faint smirk touched his lips. God, she hated that smirk, because it still made her weak. Church bells rang in the distance. Reality returned fast. "If my father sees us, he'll lose his mind," Cole finished. "He warned me about you." "He should." Ivy frowned. "Why do you talk like that?" "Like what?" "Like you're already guilty." Cole looked away toward the empty road. "Because I am." For a second, silence swallowed them whole. Then footsteps echoed nearby. Sheriff Dawson appeared across the street. The moment he saw Cole, his hand dropped near his gun. "Well," the sheriff muttered. Hell finally rode back into town. Cole didn't move. Ivy stepped forward nervously. "Sheriff." "You stay away from him, Ivy." Cole laughed quietly. "Still giving fatherly speeches?" "I should have buried you years ago." The tension snapped tight between them. Ivy's chest tightened. "What happened?" she asked softly. Neither man answered. The sheriff looked at Cole with pure hatred. "You got 24 hours before this town turns against you again." Cole tilted his head. It never stopped. The sheriff walked away. But not before warning Ivy one last time. "Your father's already arranging your engagement. Don't throw your future away for trash." Her stomach dropped. Cole's expression darkened instantly. "Engagement?" Ivy looked down. "It's nothing." "Who?" "Daniel Whitmore." Cole went completely still. Daniel Whitmore. Rich. Polite. Safe. Everything Cole wasn't. "When?" he asked. "Next month." Rain dripped from the edge of his hat as he stared at her. "You love him." She opened her mouth. Nothing came out, because no matter how hard she tried, her heart never left Cole Rider. And somehow, he knew it. Cole stepped closer until only inches remained between them. "Ivy," he said quietly, "look at me and tell me you want that man." Her pulse thundered. Tell me." She finally looked up. Big mistake. Those eyes destroyed her every single time. "I can't," she whispered. Cole exhaled slowly, like the answer hurt him too. Then he brushed wet hair from her cheek so gently it almost broke her. "You should hate me." "Maybe I tried." And her eyes filled with tears. It never worked. For one dangerous second, he almost kissed her. She saw it, felt it, wanted it. But suddenly a carriage stopped nearby. Pastor Bennett stepped out, her father, and the fury in his eyes could have burned the whole town down. "Ivy." She jumped back instantly. Cole removed his hand from her face. The pastor stormed toward them. "What is this?" "Father, I can explain." "You." He pointed at Cole. "You stay away from my daughter." Cole's jaw tightened, but he stayed calm. "Yes, sir." "Don't mock me, boy." "I'm not a boy anymore." "That's exactly the problem." Ivy grabbed her father's arm. Please, you will go home. Now. She hesitated. Just once, she looked back at Cole. His eyes met hers under the rain. Sad. Tired. Hungry for something he knew he could never keep. Then he spoke words that shattered her. He deserves better than me anyway, preacher. Ivy's chest ached instantly, because she knew he wasn't talking to her father. He was talking to himself. Ivy didn't sleep that night. Rain tapped against her bedroom window while the entire house sat in silence. But her mind stayed trapped on Cole. The way he looked at her. The way his hand trembled slightly when he touched her face. The sadness buried beneath all that darkness. And worst of all, the way he pushed her away before she could choose him. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. Ivy, her father called from outside her door. She quickly wiped her tears. Yes, Daniel is visiting tomorrow. Her stomach twisted. I understand. Footsteps faded down the hallway. The moment she was alone again, she moved toward the window and froze. Someone stood beneath the tree outside. Tall. Still. Cowboy, hat shadowing his face. Cole. Her breath caught instantly. He shouldn't be here. But somehow she opened the window anyway. What are you doing? She whispered. Cole looked up slowly. Couldn't leave. You'll get seen. Probably. You don't care? No. The honesty in his voice shook her. Ivy glanced toward the hallway nervously. You need to go. Cole stepped closer to the house. You really marrying him? She looked down. My father thinks it's best. I didn't ask your father. Silence. Then softly. I don't know. Cole laughed bitterly under his breath. That's worse. Cole. You know what kills me? He interrupted quietly. I stayed away because I thought it would save you. Ivy's chest tightened. But seeing you with another man, he continued, turns out that hurts worse than leaving. Her eyes filled instantly. You left me first. Cole nodded once. I know. Do you have any idea what that did to me? He looked away. Every day. Lightning flashed across the sky. For 1 second she saw him clearly. Bruises across his knuckles. Fresh cuts near his jaw. Exhaustion carved into his face. Something was wrong. Who hurt you? She whispered. No one. You're bleeding. It's nothing. You're lying. Cole smirked faintly. Still stubborn. And you still avoid the truth. Another silence stretched between them. Then suddenly, a lantern lit downstairs. Her father. Ivy panicked. You have to go. Cole didn't move. Cole. Instead, he stepped even closer beneath her window. Ivy. Her heartbeat exploded. If things were different, he said slowly, would you have chosen me? The question shattered her completely. Because she already knew the answer. Always him. Even when she hated herself for it. Yes, she whispered. Cole closed his eyes briefly, like her answer wounded him. Then voices echoed from inside the house. Ivy, her father shouted. She gasped softly. Go. Cole backed away toward the darkness. But before disappearing, he looked at her one last time and said the one thing she never expected. Don't trust Daniel Whitmore. Then he vanished into the storm. The next afternoon, the entire town gathered for Sunday market. Ivy walked beside her father quietly while whispers followed them everywhere. Mostly about Cole Ryder returning. He'll bring trouble. He always does. Sheriff should have shot him already. Ivy hated every word. Then Daniel Whitmore approached with his usual perfect smile. Ivy. Daniel was handsome in the cleanest way possible. Pressed clothes. Soft voice. Gentle manners. A man any father would approve of. He kissed her hand politely. You look beautiful today. Thank you. Pastor Bennett smiled proudly nearby. Daniel's taking over the northern ranch next year, her father bragged. Smartest young businessman in the county. Daniel chuckled modestly, but Ivy noticed something strange. The moment Cole's name came up nearby, Daniel's smile disappeared. One of the townsmen laughed nervously. Wonder how long before Ryder ends up dead. Daniel's eyes darkened. Hopefully soon. Ivy blinked. The hatred in his voice felt personal. Before she could question it, shouting erupted near the saloon. People started running. The sheriff stormed through the crowd with deputies behind him. Then Ivy saw why. Cole stood in the middle of the street covered in blood. Not his blood. Someone else's. Gasps exploded everywhere. Sheriff Dawson aimed his gun instantly. Hands up. Cole slowly raised his hands. A man groaned on the ground nearby with a broken nose. He pulled a knife first. Cole said calmly, "You expect us to believe that?" The sheriff snapped. "I don't care what you believe." The crowd turned ugly fast. Murder. Animal. Run him out. Ivy's heart pounded as deputies grabbed Cole roughly. One punched him hard across the face. "Stop," Ivy shouted. The entire street went silent. Her father looked horrified. Daniel stared at her carefully. Ivy rushed forward before fear could stop her. He didn't do anything. Sheriff Dawson frowned. "Stay out of this." He defended himself. "You saw it." "No." "Then be quiet." Cole looked at her sharply, almost warning her not to help. But she ignored him. One deputy shoved Cole again. That was enough. "Don't touch him like that." Ivy snapped. The silence became deadly, because everyone finally saw it. The preacher's daughter cared about the devil himself. And Cole? He looked at her like she'd just destroyed both their lives. The street stayed silent for what felt like forever. Even the wind stopped moving. Ivy realized too late what she'd done. Every pair of eyes in Red Hollow stared at her now. The preacher's daughter, defending Cole Ryder. Her father grabbed her arm hard enough to hurt. "Enough," he hissed. But Ivy couldn't look away from Cole. Blood dripped from the corner of his mouth while deputies held his arms behind his back. Still, his eyes stayed locked on hers, like she was the only thing keeping him standing. Sheriff Dawson stepped forward slowly. "You willing to ruin your reputation for him, Ivy?" Before she could answer, Cole spoke first. "She's got nothing to do with me." Ivy turned sharply toward him. Cole kept his expression cold. "Girl just feels sorry for people. That's all." The lie stung more than it should have, because she knew why he said it, to protect her. But part of her hated him for it anyway. The sheriff studied them both carefully, then finally lowered his gun. "Take him to the holding cell." Deputies dragged Cole toward the jail. The crowd followed eagerly, like wolves chasing blood. Just before disappearing inside, Cole glanced back once. Only once. But it was enough to wreck her. That evening, Pastor Bennett locked the front door himself. "You embarrassed this family today." Ivy stood quietly in the living room. "I was helping someone. You were defending filth." "He's still human. He stopped being human years ago." She clenched her fists. "You don't know that." Her father's face hardened instantly. "Oh, I know exactly what Cole Ryder is." Something in his voice felt deeper than anger. Older. Painful. Ivy frowned slightly. "What happened between you two?" "Nothing you need to know." "That's not true." Her father stepped closer. "You stay away from him. He saved himself today. He destroys everything he touches." The sudden rage shocked her, then softer. "I won't watch him destroy you too." Ivy stared at him carefully. "Why are you so afraid of him?" For the first time, Pastor Bennett looked uncertain, like he almost answered honestly. But then, a knock interrupted the tension. Daniel Whitmore entered carrying flowers. Perfect timing. Perfect smile. Perfect man. "I hope I'm not interrupting." Pastor Bennett instantly relaxed. "Not at all." Ivy forced a polite smile. Daniel handed her the flowers gently. "These reminded me of you." "Thank you." But even while smiling, her thoughts stayed trapped inside the town jail. With Cole. Daniel noticed. Of course he did. "You seem distracted tonight," he said softly. "I'm fine. Is this about Ryder?" The room went still. Her father answered coldly. "That criminal will be gone soon." Daniel nodded slowly. "Good." Again, that strange hatred crossed his face. Ivy noticed it clear this time. "You know him?" she asked. Daniel's jaw tightened briefly before smiling again. "Men like him are all the same." That wasn't an answer, but before she could push further, a loud crash echoed outside. Everyone froze. Then another. Shouting erupted in the distance. Pastor Bennett moved toward the window. What in God's name? Orange light flickered across the town.
Fire.
Near the jail, Ivy's heart dropped instantly. Without thinking, she ran outside. Ivy, her father shouted behind her. She ignored him. Smoke filled the streets while townspeople screamed and rushed toward the flames. The jail was burning. Deputies scrambled everywhere trying to control it. Sheriff Dawson barked orders furiously. Get water. Move. Find Ryder. Ivy stopped cold. Find Ryder? Her pulse exploded. He escaped, someone shouted. No. Another man yelled. Cell was empty before the fire started. Fear twisted violently inside her. Cole was gone, and somehow, that terrified her more than the fire itself. Suddenly, a strong hand grabbed her wrist from the shadows beside a building. She gasped. Cole pulled her into the dark alley before anyone saw. His chest rose heavily with breath. There was soot on his shirt, blood on his knuckles, but his eyes focused completely on her. You shouldn't be here, he said. You escaped. I didn't start the fire. I know. Voices echoed nearby. People searching. Cole looked toward the street carefully. They're gonna hunt me now, then leave town. A bitter smile crossed his face. You asking me to go again? Ivy's chest tightened painfully. No. Cole stepped closer slowly, close enough to make breathing difficult. Then what do you want from me? Everything. The answer nearly escaped her lips, but fear stopped it. Fear of losing herself. Fear of losing him. Fear of what loving Cole Ryder would cost. Suddenly, he touched her cheek gently. I tried staying away. His voice cracked slightly. But every damn road keeps bringing me back to you. Tears filled her eyes instantly. Cole. Then hoofbeats thundered nearby. Searching parties. Cole cursed under his breath. You need to go home. What about you? I'll survive. You can't keep running forever. His expression darkened. You don't know what's chasing me. Before she could ask, a gunshot exploded nearby. Ivy flinched. Cole instantly pulled her against his chest protectively. Then another voice shouted from the street. There. Someone's in the alley. Cole's eyes met hers. Danger everywhere. And still, the only thing he seemed afraid of was letting her go. Cole grabbed Ivy's hand and ran. Boots pounded against wet dirt while shouts exploded behind them. After them, he went south. Ivy struggled to keep up through the dark alleyways of Red Hollow. Her heart slammed wildly against her ribs. Not from fear. From him. Cole never let go of her hand once. Gunshots cracked again somewhere behind them. Cole. Keep moving. They slipped between barns at the edge of town before finally stopping near the abandoned mill outside Red Hollow. Cole checked the road carefully before pulling her inside. The old building creaked around them. Moonlight spilled through broken wooden walls. For a moment, neither spoke. Both breathing hard. Both too close. Ivy slowly pulled her hand from his. You dragged me into this. Cole laughed quietly without humor. You followed me. That's not funny. No, he admitted softly. It's not. He removed his hat and ran a hand through his dark hair. Only now did Ivy fully see the exhaustion on his face and the fresh blood soaking through his side. Her eyes widened. You're hurt. It's nothing. Stop saying that. She moved toward him quickly. Cole caught her wrist gently. Ivy, you're bleeding. I've had worse. You need help. And you need to stop caring about me. But his voice lacked conviction now. Ivy carefully lifted his shirt despite his resistance. The moment she saw the wound, her breath caught. A deep cut stretched across his ribs.
Fresh. Angry. Who did this?
Cole looked away. No one important. You're lying again. A bitter smile crossed his lips. You always could tell. She tore fabric from an old cloth sack nearby and pressed it carefully against the wound. Cole hissed quietly in pain. Sorry. Don't be. Their faces were inches apart now. Too close. Dangerously close. Ivy's fingers trembled against his skin. Cole noticed immediately. So do you, he murmured. What? Shake when you touch me. Her breath caught. He lifted his eyes slowly to hers. And that scares you? Yes. Me too. The honesty destroyed her. Because Cole Ryder never sounded afraid of anything. Until her. Outside, horses thundered past the mill. Search parties. Cole immediately moved toward the broken window. They're still looking. You can't stay here. I know. Then where will you go? Silence. Then quietly, far from you. Pain flashed across her face before she could hide it. Cole noticed instantly. That's the only way this ends without destroying you. You don't get to decide that for me. I do if I love you. The words hit her like lightning. Everything stopped, even breathing. Cole froze too, like he hadn't meant to say it aloud. But it was too late now. Ivy stared at him with tears filling her eyes. You love me? He laughed bitterly. Worst thing I ever did. Before she could respond, voices echoed outside the mill.
Closer now.
Cole cursed softly and grabbed his gun from the table. Ivy's eyes widened. You have a gun? Everyone looking for me has one too. The front door suddenly burst open. Sheriff Dawson entered with 2 deputies. There he is. Cole instantly shoved Ivy behind him. Stay back. The sheriff aimed his rifle directly at Cole. I warned you what'd happen if you stayed. Cole's jaw tightened. You came all this way just to kill me? No, the sheriff growled. I came to finish what should have happened years ago. Deputies moved forward. Cole raised his gun slowly. Ivy's panic exploded. No, everyone froze. She stepped between them before anyone could fire. Ivy, move, the sheriff ordered.
No.
Cole stared at her in shock. I said move. You'll kill him. That's the idea. Cole's voice turned deadly behind her. Careful, Sheriff. The tension inside the mill became suffocating. One wrong move and blood would cover the floor. Then suddenly, Daniel Whitmore appeared behind the sheriff. Perfect suit, perfect smile, perfect timing. But the moment Cole saw him, something changed. Pure hatred flashed across Cole's face.
And Daniel?
He smiled like he'd already won. Well, Daniel said calmly, this explains a lot. Ivy looked between them confused. You know each other? Neither man answered. The sheriff kept his gun trained on Cole. But Daniel stepped forward slowly. You should tell her the truth, Ryder. Cole's expression darkened instantly. Shut up. Ivy frowned. What truth? Daniel tilted his head slightly. The reason he really came back. Silence crashed through the room. Ivy looked at Cole desperately. Cole. But his eyes stayed locked on Daniel. Murderous. Then Daniel delivered the words that shattered everything. He didn't return for you, Ivy. A cruel smile touched his lips. He came back for revenge. Final part. The words hung in the mill like smoke that refused to clear. Revenge. Ivy felt it before she fully understood it.
Cole didn't move, didn't deny it, didn't look at her.
That silence was answer enough. Her voice came out barely above a whisper. Revenge for what? Cole finally turned his head slightly toward her. And for the first time since she knew him, he looked truly broken. Don't, he said quietly. Daniel stepped closer, enjoying every second. Tell her, Ryder, or I will. The sheriff tightened his grip on the gun. Enough games. But Daniel wasn't finished. You think he came back by accident? You think this is some tragic love story? He laughed softly.
No, Ivy.
3 years ago, your father didn't just warn him away from you.
Cole's jaw clenched.
Daniel, he warned. But Daniel ignored him. He ran him out, Daniel continued, with threats, with lies, with the help of the sheriff. Ivy turned slowly toward her father's voice echoing in her memory. Don't trust him. Not Cole. Daniel. Her stomach tightened. Cole finally spoke, voice rough. I left because I was forced to leave. Ivy shook her head slightly. That's not. Daniel cut in again. And while he was gone, someone died in that fire at the North Ranch. Silence dropped like a hammer. Ivy's breath caught. North Ranch. 3 years ago. Cole's eyes darkened completely. My brother didn't just die, he said lowly. He was left there to burn. The room froze. Even the sheriff shifted uncomfortably. Daniel's smile widened. And guess who signed the land deal that night? Ivy looked at Daniel, then at Cole, then back again. No, she whispered. Cole's voice was raw now. Your father. The world tilted under her feet. That's not true. Cole took a step closer, pain carved into every line of his face. I came back because I needed answers. Because I needed to know why a preacher, a sheriff, and a businessman all looked away while my brother died screaming in that fire. Ivy's eyes filled instantly. You think I knew? I think you were the only thing in this town I didn't want to turn into hatred. His voice broke slightly. That was my mistake. Daniel clapped slowly. Beautiful, he mocked, but incomplete. Cole snapped his gaze to him. Shut your mouth. Daniel's tone turned colder. You didn't come back just for answers, Ryder. He pointed toward Ivy. You came back because you wanted him to feel what you felt. Ivy's chest tightened painfully. Cole didn't deny it this time. That was worse than anything else. Her voice shook. So, I was part of it. Cole stepped forward instantly.
No.
But she backed away. That small movement hit him harder than any bullet. I never planned to drag you into this, he said quickly. I swear. But you did, she whispered. Sirens and hoofbeats echoed outside again. The sheriff barked orders, panic rising. We're surrounded. Daniel stepped back slowly toward the exit. Town's done protecting you, Ryder. Cole didn't even look at him. His eyes stayed on Ivy. Only Ivy. I didn't lie about one thing, he said quietly. Her lips trembled. Which one? His voice softened. When I said I came back for you. Ivy closed her eyes for a moment, torn between everything she just learned.
Love, truth, blood.
When she opened them again, Cole was still there, waiting, not running anymore, just waiting for her decision. Outside, chaos grew louder. The town was breaking apart. The sheriff shouted. Daniel disappeared into the night. And in the middle of it all, Ivy finally spoke. I don't know who you are anymore. Cole nodded slowly. I know. A long silence passed between them. Then softly, but I never lied about who I was to you. Her breath trembled. Cole stepped closer. Careful this time. No matter what happens, I won't force you to choose me. His voice cracked slightly. But I won't stop loving you either. Ivy's tears finally fell. The mill shook with footsteps outside. The world was collapsing around them. But for one moment, everything else disappeared. Just Ivy. Just Cole. Just the impossible thing between them. She whispered, if I stay, I lose everything. Cole answered just as quietly. If you go, I lose everything. A gunshot echoed outside. Both of them flinched. Time ran out. Ivy looked at him one last time, then at the door, then back at him. And in that final moment, she made her choice. Not with words, but with movement. She stepped forward. Into him. Cole froze. Then slowly, carefully, like he didn't trust it, he wrapped his arms around her. For the first time since Red Hollow had ever known him, Cole Ryder held onto something without letting it go. Outside, the storm swallowed the town. Inside, everything finally broke, and something new began.